Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Lewis. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, either on video, some of you, and on the phone. I appreciate you carving out 15, 20 minutes of your night tonight. Thanks for joining. What I'll do is I'll give you a little bit of background on myself and my career so far with Beautycounter. Then I'll share the story of Beautycounter for those of you that may not be as familiar with the company. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the consultant opportunity and ways to become involved. So I've been now with Beautycounter about 5.5 years. I live in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm a mom of two young boys, 6.5 and almost 4.5. And when I started Beautycounter about 6.5 years ago, started with Beautycounter, about 5.5 years ago, I really jumped into it pretty blind. I had never tried a product. I never laid eyes on a product. I didn't even know someone that had tried a product. It was a relatively unheard of, unknown, new company that landed in my lap from a trusted friend. And I know many of you have probably learned about Beautycounter in a similar way. And at that time in my life, my first little boy had just turned a year. And probably 4 months prior to that, I had really started paying attention to the ingredients and the products we were using. And it was really spurred by our first beach trip as a family when my son was about 9 months old, and I had to put sunscreen on him for the first time. And I started looking into the ingredients that were in sunscreen, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe how much evidence there was out there that a lot of the ingredients in our commonly used products that I've been picking up at Target and the grocery store and CVS and wherever my entire life, just how many links to health concerns there were in those products. That over 90% of sunscreen products sold in the European Union would not be, or 90% of products, sold in the US would not be legal to be sold in the European Union because of their restrictions. And it really just blew me away. And I started down a path of trying to make better decisions for myself and my family, mainly for my son Henry, who was 9 months old, didn't have a voice, and all of a sudden I was making all those decisions for him. So, like I said, fast forward about 4 months, and I heard about Beautycounter. And I was immediately intrigued, but I really, honestly, didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I'll say that in kind of a funny way and kind of a joking way, but also in a serious way. I'll just, going into an industry like selling a product person to person, being in direct sales, being in this avenue was honestly not something I'd ever thought about because I never saw myself doing it. At the time when I was introduced to Beautycounter, I was working full-time as a CPA. And we had a busy, full life, a young family, and I wasn't looking to add something to my plate. I wasn't looking for more, but I really was looking for better. I really was looking for a company doing things better, and that's exactly what Beautycounter stood for then and still stands for today. And I'll share a funny story. So like I said, I'd never tried a product. I never knew someone that had even tried a product at the time. I think we had about 12. And so I enrolled as a consultant. And I think part of me knew what I was getting into and was like, well, we'll see. Part of me thought I'd signed up for some really great subscription service where I was going to get fabulous products mailed to me, right? It wasn't the latter. And I distinctly remember waking up the next morning and turning to my husband, who is in sales, and that's his career. He's great at it. He's a sales leader. He's awesome at it. And I said, oh my God, what did I just do? I think I'm supposed to sell something. And he looked at me and said, yeah, no, you're not going to be very good at that. And I was terrified. I was truly terrified. And from that moment, I had no intention of really doing anything with Beautycounter. And I was like, well, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not going to put forth a lot of effort here because this is not my wheelhouse. This is not something I'm good at. This is not something I was looking for. So what have I done? But in the first few weeks and months that I was part of Beautycounter, I learned so much. I couldn't believe how hard this tiny company at the time, was fighting for others. The women I had met who had also joined Beautycounter really blew me away with their you know, their backgrounds and their knowledge and their passion and, you know, everything that they echoed that I was really impressed by. And I think one thing that I kept hearing over and over and over again was, well, I would have never done something like this if it wasn't for this. And while that's not everybody's story, certainly, it echoed, it resonated with me because that's how I was feeling. I was like, gosh, I never saw myself doing something like this. I never imagined that I would be selling a product to my friends and my family. But I also had already learned, you know, amazing statistics about this industry that, you know, a major federal law had been passed governing this multi-billion-dollar industry since the 1930s, that the European Union had banned or restricted, remember that sunscreen, banned or restricted over 1,400 different ingredients from this class of products. In the United States at the time had banned 11. We're now up to 30 with some pretty small measures that have happened in the past couple of years. And I was blown away. And I started small. I started in my own way. I started really with the friends and family that I cared about the most. Some of whom were very excited and compelled and wanted to try right away. Others, not as much, but they have since very much come around and are really, you know, really paying attention to the message Beautycounter is sharing. And so, you know, slowly over the last 5.5 years, I've built up a business with Beautycounter that has fulfilled me in so many ways. It changed my life in ways I didn't know I was looking to change my life. It allowed me to leave a full-time career that I never really had any passion for, that I never had any excitement for. It allowed me to double my income from what I was earning previously as a full-time CPA. It allowed me to align myself with something that I felt like mattered, with something that was bigger than me, with a company that was really trying hard to change the landscape of this country. And it allowed me freedom and flexibility to do it on my own terms in my own way, and as much or as little as I wanted in different seasons of life. And it allowed me a chance to, you know, work with other like-minded women that I am still to this day so impressed by, so I just look up to so many women that I've met through this business, because at the end of the day, we're all working for something bigger than ourselves because this country needs it. Our families need it. I think, you know, I've heard Greg Renfrew, who I'll talk a little bit about, our founder and CEO, say, you know, this is not a lipstick issue at its core. This is not a makeup issue. It's not a face lotion issue. It's a human health issue. It's a family health issue. And it's something that really and truly matters. And so I think it has been just an eye-opening career change for me. I'm someone that's always wanted a career, always wanted to be part of the working world and wanted to be part of that, but desired a way to do it differently once I had a family. And I think that's what Beautycounter has provided for my life and so many others. So thanks again for hearing my story and taking some time out tonight. So Beautycounter, what is this company we're here talking a lot about? So we just had our 6th anniversary, which is hard to believe. And we really are a company at its core founded to get safer products into the hands of everyone. And you'll notice that's not get Beautycounter products into the hands of everyone, but get safer products into the hands of everyone. And our founder and CEO, Greg Renfrew, really came about this honestly and learned a lot of the very same things I shared earlier and that she shared with me early on in my consultant career, that we all share with each other now, and just what the state that this industry is in. And she luckily is a very savvy businesswoman and very much an entrepreneur in her own right, although had never been in like skincare and cosmetics, but she was on top of something that she saw this coming. She saw what we're in the middle of now, or the start of now, the clean beauty movement, where, you know, when a few years ago when we started Beautycounter, people looked at you like you had 3 heads when you said, you know, you should really pay attention. And now not as much, right? Now there's a little bit more knowledge and information. And I think Beautycounter has been a big part of that, been a big part of changing the dialogue around wanting to be conscious of the ingredients that you're using, wanting to have safer alternatives, wanting to have products that look and perform just like conventional brands with significantly safer ingredient profiles. And so she founded Beautycounter on those principles. And we really operate in three ways. First and foremost, through education. And that's simply telling our story. And whether it's sitting down and having coffee with a friend, or taking a walk through your neighborhood, or picking up the phone, or whether it's sharing a video like our Today's Show feature that we had about a year ago that told our story, whether it's an amazing video we had by Goldman Sachs that honored us as an innovator in the business world, whether it's articles of press from Vogue or In Style that help tell our story. And we educate others on why clean beauty matters and why we can make better, safer, more informed choices for ourselves and families. At Beautycounter itself, we ban well over 1,500 different ingredients from our products. But our cornerstone is our Never list, and that's a bite-sized, digestible list of about 20 ingredients that are really commonly used in this industry that have really been linked, and there's a growing body of evidence that they're not good for us for a lot of reasons, and they're really commonly used. And so this is kind of the cornerstone, like I said, and it's a great tool to share with others and help educate, and take this home and check out what's in the products you're eating. And see if you find things in there that you're not so thrilled about. Because I know when I did that exercise, I definitely did. And it was really eye-opening for me. The second pillar of our company is our product line, right? Our amazing products that, like I mentioned before, have been featured in so many really awesome mainstream press publications that led us to be, in 2018, the most Googled beauty brand in the entire country. And that's real, and that's garnered by the passion of so many men and women who've aligned themselves as consultants. That's garnered by an incredible business and an incredible CEO that has a great vision for this business and where this industry is moving. That's garnered by our countless tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands really at this point, clients who are voting with their dollar and choosing products that they love using that are significantly safer. That's all these things and more coming together with an amazing product line. Really a full portfolio of skincare and cosmetics. Recently made even more so earlier this year with our launch of Counterman, our exclusive men's line, because men's skin is different, and there's no one out there really putting forward cleaner products for men that are high performing, and men deserve safer skincare too. It's garnered by our amazing cosmetics line that, if you paid attention to Beautycounter at all over this past awards season, was everywhere on the red carpet, proving that the products perform, that they work just like anything you're used to and loving. That if you swap something of ours from a different brand that maybe you're used to, you'll love the results from Beautycounter. And that was really important because we wanted to prove that you can put forward really significantly safer products that are really high performing. So our products speak for themselves. We have our number one selling product actually is probably about 8 months old now, is our overnight resurfacing peel. And it really is an active product that gives you great results, even after just a few uses. And another glowing example of safer can really work. So a really exciting, obviously robust product line. And then the third pillar of our company is our advocacy work. And that really is where rubber meets the road, and how we put forward our mission of getting safer products into the hands of everyone. Just because you can't or don't choose Beautycounter doesn't mean you shouldn't have access to safer products. And so we're working tirelessly to advocate both at the state but primarily the federal level, to talk about the need for safer products. And there's a bill in the Senate right now that will be up for vote hopefully this year. That's a great step a great first step toward putting more health protective laws in place. We still have a really long way to go, but partially through our efforts and the efforts of our company and our consultants, we're making this happen. I know personally I'm getting ready to go meet with my congressman here in Lexington to talk about why we support this bill and why it's important, why he should take a look at it, why his constituents here locally support it. And there are consultants across the country doing the same thing with their elected officials. So it really is, there's a lot of things that we do as a company that really, a lot of ways to make an impact as a consultant. And that's just, one of the ways that we're trying to really go forward and change this industry is making sure that everyone has access to safer products. So that's a little bit of the story of Beautycounter, where we're at 6 years, 6 young years in. We have so much ahead of us, and we're incredibly excited about it. So there's a lot of ways to become involved with Beautycounter. If you're not a client yet, if you haven't tried products, certainly connect with the person that invited you on this call and give a few of our safer alternatives a try. You can host, partner with your consultant, and invite a few friends. Casual, meet up at a wine bar or a coffee shop, meet up on the playground, meet up on your back deck, and just have a conversation about safer beauty. It's not about an elaborate party. It's not about spending days cleaning your home. It's just about conversation and education and having a little fun. And certainly I think the most exciting way to become involved is by becoming a consultant. Lend your voice to our movement and tell others that you care about the need for safer, higher performing products, about the need for change in this industry, and about the need for others to have a voice. And there's so many different ways to have a business with Beautycounter. Women work this very part-time and in the nooks and crannies, all the way up to, replacing careers and earning well into the 6 figures, having built an organization that's doing just that. So, if you're interested in joining on as a consultant, we have great starter sets of products available to help you get access to our products at really over 40% discount. There's 3 different sets that are at all varying price points, but these are your employees. And that's what I love about this business is it's very portable. It can go with you wherever you're going. It can, throw in whatever bag you're taking that day and be shared with others. It fits in your lifestyle really well because like I said, it goes with you. You can work anywhere and share Beautycounter really anywhere. And so it has been a great opportunity for a lot of women who have very busy lives, who have trouble seeing how they're going to add one more thing in, but then realizing that it often works best just alongside everything else that you're already doing. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about the business is we can have so many people with so many backgrounds and so many different needs and desires that just want to be part of something bigger, doing that in their own way. And I think, one of the best things I've heard Greg say about our company recently is, the world didn't need another beauty brand. Not at all. There's millions upon millions of beauty brands out there, right? But what the world needed was a movement for better, a movement toward safer, a movement toward more transparency, a movement toward putting products out that worked, that were shifting an industry, and that started a dialogue. And I also think, kind of thinking about that and how this has interwoven in my life now and so many others, is I don't think the world needed another direct sales brand either, okay? But I do think they needed a brand. We needed a brand that could make a significant social impact by at the same time providing an opportunity to make an incredibly lucrative living, to do well by doing good. We needed men and women who had the desire to do better for themselves and for others. Women and men who have a bit of the entrepreneurial spirit but don't want to go it alone. And I think, we're a community of people who are passionate to educate, empower, and advocate, and really use commerce as that engine for change, not only change of an industry, but change of our own life circumstances as well. And I know as part of my journey with this company, I look at my sons now, and I want part of the legacy of not only me personally, but all the women and men who are involved with Beautycounter in this company. I think will go down as the leader in changing an industry. I think when my children are having their children, I want them to look at me, and I believe they'll look at me and say, "Mom, I cannot believe that products used to be knowingly sold with formaldehyde and marketed to babies." And I'll know that, I played a small part in a company and in a movement that made that a thing of the past. I really believe that we'll look back on this industry in 20, 30 years and we'll be shocked that we allowed these ingredients to be so widely and rampantly used with such little oversight. So I'm proud to align myself with a company that is doing just that. And so if you're at all interested or intrigued, I encourage you to join us. to give it a try. Do it in your own small way. There's so many different paths, but we'll be here to help you every step of the way. And you'll come into you know, an organization and a company with a lot of systems and a lot of ways to just fit this business in to what you're already doing. But again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you hearing a little more about my story, a little more about Beautycounter's story, and a way to make it part of your life as well. So I will go ahead and hang on for a minute. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them tonight. All right, well, I don't think there's questions, but thank you again so much for joining, and hope you have a great evening.